Hello.
Hello.
I am here with one of my best friends, Tahnee, and we are going to be sharing some info about Tahnee and her new company, which is called Rooted Wings. And we're going to talk about the difference that Shamanic Kundalini Yoga has made on her life. So we've got some exciting news really. We've just been to see some venues for an upcoming plan of ours, which is to join together to create a retreat aimed at mums. And we've just got back from it, so we're feeling really excited and a bit all over the place. So T thought it would be nice to start with a little grounding exercise to bring us down and get us ready for our interview.
Yes, because the space is so beautiful, and we were just there and we were like, oh, it's so gorgeous. And then we've come in like, right, now we need to talk about stuff. So
yeah,
we are going to do a little breath together. Okay. And if you're watching this, inviting you to join in. We're going to do a breath. It's called the breath to manage the mind, and it's a really amazing breath you can just do anywhere for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it will just center you, bring you into the present moment, just really relax your nervous system. So we're supposed to be sitting in easy pose. I know we're trying to not
cover up
the camera. So we're sitting in easy pose, but you can do it on a chair or sitting anywhere. And so you want to make sure your spine is nice and straight, and the shoulders are dropped. You shut your eyes down, lifting your top of your head, your crown towards the heavens. And we're going to make an O shape with the mouth. And we're going to inhale fully and completely through the O mouth like this. And then you're going to hold for a few moments at the top and then exhale through the nostril fully and completely. So we're inhaling fully and completely through the O mouth, holding briefly at the top, and exhaling fully and completely through the nostril. Just finding your own rhythm with your own breath. And at the top of the next inhale, hold the breath. And then exhale, coming back to long, deep breaths, keeping your eyes shut down. Just arriving here into this moment, into this space, into yourself. And then when you're ready, release, opening your eyes.
Thank you.
Feel calmer, feel more
ready.
More ready.
Feel much more calmer.
To be interviewed.
Tahnee balances me out because if you know me, you'll know my energy is like all the time. So when she comes around and gets me to do that, I always feel much more together and ready. So thank you, baby. So aside from our exciting project, which is upcoming, and there'll be more details of that to follow. But today is really about hearing Tahnee's story, because after having 2 children, Tahnee really found Kundalini and has made it into this new project of hers. So why don't you tell us about it? So you've got 2 children.
I've got 2 children. I've got Rafa, who is 5, very nearly 6.
Yeah.
And Leia, who is 3.5. So I am just out of that, I feel like I'm coming out of that crazy newborn phase where you don't know what's what and everything's upside down and you haven't got a minute. I feel like, you know, they're a little bit older now, and I'm just coming into that
feels
space.
like they're not, obviously they still need us, but they're kind of starting to find a little bit more independence in different areas, and time away from
and Rafa's at school now, and Leia's going to be starting school in September, and that's really exciting, and have more time. But the Kundalini,
so you got the two kids,
kids.
How, firstly, I would love to ask you a little bit about your experience of becoming a mum. Yes. So matrescence is the thing that I'm talking about a lot, which is the transition of becoming a mother. So what happens when you have your first child and your second child, or if you have any more children, that transitional period that you go through. Obviously, both of us met over here in Ibiza, and we met when we were both free and single. Well, not, you weren't single, but we were free, definitely. And, you know, we had years of just swanning around and having a bloody great time.
Yeah.
And you know, then you have children, and all of a sudden you're living away from your family, and you are responsible for a little human being. How was that experience for you?
So Rafa, my son, we tried for him for 4 years, and that was quite a long journey in itself.
Yeah.
Which also I think the yoga actually played a big part in actually him being created. And so when honestly my experience of becoming a mother with Rafa was amazing. I actually think it was probably one of the happiest times of my life when Rafa was like very young. He was born a month early and he was super tiny, and I did the 40 days staying in for the first 40 days of his life. We didn't go out, we just cocooned, and it was really incredible. And it was also COVID, so we couldn't.
It was perfect timing, really.
Yeah, we just kind of stayed in with this miracle little baby that I had thought was maybe never coming, and there he was, and he was tiny and perfect and gorgeous, and I really actually loved motherhood. I think it was the happiest part of my life, Rafa being born, and
I think that makes such a difference, being able to have that time. I think so many of us rush back to trying to get back to normal.
Yes,
I know that's what I did, and I look back and I think if I'd have given myself a bit more time during that period to like just appreciate what was going on there and connect, I think things would have been very different.
So I gave myself the time with Rafa, and it was very different. And then Leia came along after all that time for trying for Rafa. Leia just kind of popped up in my womb unexpectedly, and Rafa was only 2. I mean, my age gap is like 2 years, and I didn't do it with Leia because I'd been really sick in my pregnancy with Leia. I've been super sick. My mum had to come to Ibiza to like help me with the kids. I couldn't like get off the couch. I had like a toddler to look after, and because I felt like I just hadn't been able to be there for Rafa, which I think is a thing when you suddenly have 2, is like the whole not being able to be there for the bigger guilty one. So I was like, as soon as she was born and I felt better, I was like, right, I need to get up and I need to get out and I need to be with him and I need to be doing things. And I really think that's when I felt this big kind of like, also I found it really difficult having 2. Like I'm not very good multitasker. You know, like women are supposed to be really good multitaskers. I'm like really not very good, and I found being torn in 2. I found that really, really difficult.
Yeah.
I found that super difficult and very like I had to be in this place and I had to be in this place. And
it's a lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure, and then Leia very young had some very serious health issues. So
you were torn, weren't you, between the 2?
Yes, it was very like when Leia was 3 months old, we had to spend 10 days in a hospital in Mallorca, so I had to be away from Rafa, and he was still so young. And yeah, I think, and then I was just like exhausted. And I feel like when you have a baby the first time, like everyone's like, oh, let me bring you food. Like, do you need anything? Da, 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 da. And it's amazing. And then by the time you have your second, I don't know if I'm going for a tangent, by the time you have your second, everyone's like, oh, they know what they're doing, they're fine.
Yeah,
like,
so true.
That's
Imagine having a third or a fourth, everyone's just like, oh, I had a baby, cool.
Yeah.
Bye.
Actually, a friend of mine is pregnant with her third baby, and I just keep forgetting that she's pregnant.
It's true, because actually, I know, I mean, I don't know what it's like to have 3 kids, but, you know, you think that it's going to get easier when you have more than one, because 1, you know what you're doing, and 2, you've got like you've got them to kind of, you know, bounce off each other sort of thing. But actually it is a whole other stress, because you're being pulled in all those different directions at once. It's not just like,
and like you say, like suddenly having 2 and being away from our families and our friends.
You don't have that support system when you live abroad, and when you're single and free, it's like, yay, this is one big adventure. And then when it gets to having children, you really realize, like, wow, my parents aren't around and this is difficult.
So it felt difficult, and there was definitely like there was just a moment where, actually, only talking to you recently and you telling me about everything you're studying and the matrescence word, and I was like, yeah, that did happen. I just like was completely exhausted, completely knackered from the hospital trips, and didn't know where to turn, and was just like fully in survival mode. You know, like you're just constantly thinking of everyone else's needs all the time, and you just totally like forget to think about yourself. And then you end up like depleted and like just not shy. People kept saying to me, oh, you're not as shiny as you used to be. Oh, your light's gone out and things like that.
Thanks.
Great.
That's made you feel loads better.
So that definitely happened. But at the same time, I'm still like full of love and obsessed with me. And I'm obsessed with my kids.
But I think that's a really important thing as well, that, you know, you can feel depleted and exhausted and crap in a lot of ways, but you're still completely in awe of your kids and in love with them and enjoying the time with them. So it's like you can be those 2 things. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah, you're like really full up and really empty at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you said that you feel like Kundalini had a part to play with Rafa. So you were obviously practicing it back then, from way back then. So what's your kind of story with it, and how did that then help you come back to yourself after you had Leia?
So it kind of all started when I was trying to get pregnant with Rafa. I think I'd had a couple of miscarriages and I was just not feeling great. And a friend of mine said, oh, you should go to my friend Trisha's class, it's Kundalini Yoga. And I was like, I'm not really a yoga, I hadn't done a lot of yoga full stop. And they were like, no, you should really go. And so I went, and I just had this beautiful, amazing experience in this class, and it was a bit bonkers because I'd never done anything like it, and just felt like everything. When I came out of the class, I just felt like it didn't really matter what happened. Everything was going to be okay. Like it just felt like whatever happens, everything is going to be okay.
Wow.
And then I went on a retreat with Trish, which was incredible, Kundalini Yoga retreat. And then I did a 40-day practice with her online. And it was very soon after the 40-day practice that I actually ended up getting pregnant with Rafa. You never know what's what, but I think that you know, just the dropping in every day and finding that calm and calming your nervous system and like balancing your hormones and like just being present and being in that space every day for 40 days. And it's, you know, I think it's really good for fertility. And well, anyway, and then he arrived. But I think what happened in those 40 days is like when you're trying to get pregnant and you're really trying to get pregnant, it was like, oh, you just need to forget about it and you just need to relax. But like,
how can you relax?
Like that's
all I'm thinking about.
It's not possible. It only happens like You can't make it happen.
Yeah.
It just happens. At some point, you do just kind of go, all right, I'm handing it over. And I think that's what happened in those 40 days is I just kind of like was very accepting of life. Even if there was no children, life is going to be beautiful anyway. It was before, it was like this really heavy, dark, like, if I don't have kids, who am I? What am I? It's this, I guess, a similar loss of self thing. And who am I? What am I? And then anyway, I felt after those that practice that everything, yeah, like life's great. Whatever's going on, whatever dark stuff is going on around you,
like completely changed the way that you were looking at stuff, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And I also read a book called Outrageous Openness, and that's all about like following the signs from the universe, but like finding comedy and like listening to the signs from the universe. So I was doing that as well. So I was just very in this like trusting, like, but funny, joyful place, even though it had been 4 years and I'd had a few miscarriages, and I was.
You found a way to.
I feel like the Kundalini practice definitely supported me doing that. And then Rafa was born, and then I was still dipping in and out of Trisha's classes. There's an online, she's Soul Adventures, and she's got loads of beautiful offerings going on, and it was just still in my life, but I'd never thought of like doing my teacher training. It wasn't anything that had
it was just something that you would go to and enjoy.
It was my go-to if I was like having a bad day or a stressful week, or like it was like, hey, I need to get on the mat, I need to go to Trisha's class, and then I'll feel better. And then with the layer stuff, after we'd had some health issues, and then we had like a 6-month period where we'd done some testing, and they kept coming back with these potential results, but they weren't sure. And the potential results were basically, I actually don't even remember the name of it, but something really sad, and our lives would have, it's not that, amazingly, and she's doing amazing, but it was like 6 months of like not knowing whether this disease was going to be in our lives and affect like our family forever, and that was hard. And I did a 40-day practice with Trish, and it again, I just came out of it feeling like that it was okay. Like, if this is what it was,
you could deal with it.
It was okay, and this was what was meant to be. And it was not like a fake, like telling yourself. It's like a deep kind of feeling, like that actually grateful to be alive, grateful for what is. Just to feel, even in those really dark times, it just lifts you up. It just centers you to yourself. It lifts you up, and life is just more beautiful. So that's what the Kundalini had done for me in tricky times in my life.
Incredible.
And then a few years ago, I had Rafa and I had Leia, and everything was a lot. This is before we'd found out what was actually going on, and it was all a lot, lighter. And my friend was like, "You need to see my life coach. You need to go and see my life."
I remember. Yeah, I remember this.
Oh, I need to remember her name because I should say who it is. It's Natalie, and I'll put
in
the link. She's incredible. Anyway, had 2 sessions with her, and then I was still listening to all the signs from the universe. I hadn't been on Facebook for ages, and I went to look on Facebook to check a friend's birthday, and the first thing that popped up was Trish was doing a teacher training and all the things she was teaching. And honestly, my whole body just started to get tingles. Like they say that happens, right? When you know something's for you just start tingling. And I read it, and it's like all the practices and like mantra and nidra and all these gorgeous things. And I called her up and I was like, I think I want to do this, but I'm not a yoga teacher. And she was like, no. And she encouraged me to do it. And so I did it. I did a year of the training, which was incredible. And yes, now I am teaching. I'm out there teaching. Sorry, plant.
So how could you say to anybody not sure about Kundalini or not really sure about Shamanic Kundalini, like what's the difference between those things, and how can they potentially, benefit people that haven't
so Kundalini
done it before?
Kundalini yoga it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's physical, but it's really about connecting you to your true self and removing energy blocks and just it's like energetic. It's not like the yoga, if like, oh, I really want to get my abs or my bum in shape, but it is still physical, and if you're practicing it a lot, that will happen, but that's not the essence or the root of it. The root of it is really just to be aligning your chakras and removing energy blocks and just connecting to your insides, the true you.
Yeah.
And then the Shamanic Kundalini Yoga, which is what Trish is teaching, is just really drawing on like ancient shamanic wisdoms about moving with the seasons and working with the earth medicine. And we do a lot around the medicine wheel, like what time of year is it, to say what kind of practice will be helping you live with the seasons and with the earth. So it's just pulling those ancient wisdom into the Kundalini.
That's one thing I love about what you've taught me about it, how depending on what's going on with you, me or whoever, that we can usually connect something to a specific teaching of Kundalini. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So like with the chakra thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So part of our plan for our retreat, spoiler, is that it's going to be, you're focusing on one area of life, and then we do the Kundalini practices that mirror that actual, you hear the drilling.
So a lot of the classes are chakra led. So we might, if we might work specifically on the heart center for something, or if you're feeling like a bit fatigued and down, we might do a lot around your solar plexus to like bring you back into your power. If you're feeling like, we've talked a lot about the self-silencing in motherhood and what happens, and so then we would like really focus on practices around your throat chakra and opening up your throat chakra. And just when we've been talking about all our experiences with motherhood and all the things you're learning with the mothership and the coaching, every time you talk about something, I'm like, oh, I know what exercises we need to do for that. I know what
it's really connected. It's really connected.
And excited about that.
So aside from our day retreat that we've got coming up, you've also got another retreat.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've got a retreat coming up with another really good friend of ours called Pixie. Her Instagram is Follow the Indigo Way. And we are going to be having a retreat in Menorca on October the 2nd to the 5th. And it's called Waves of Love. And it's a short retreat. We thought it'd be a beautiful time to do it, after you've had the crazy summer, you've settled the kids back into school, and beginning of October feels like a nice time to take some time for you. It's just Thursday to Sunday, and it's all going in a like beautiful house in Menorca with a gorgeous yoga space, 2 yoga spaces, and it's all about self-love. I'm going to work in a lot with the heart center. There's going to be some cacao and some mantra, and just really a time for you to come, take that space that you need from being like mum and wife and everything to everyone after the summer frazzle that we are in the thick of at the moment. So it's amazing that we're even making any sense. And are we making any sense? And
we'll know afterwards.
And then and just really to come inward, a time to come inward. The summer's ending, autumn's coming, and just nourish yourself and cover yourself in love. Basically, it's very self-love, taking care of yourself, giving yourself some time in this beautiful house in Menorca. That's what we're doing.
Yay! Great. So I'm just thinking, have we talked about everything we wanted to talk about? I think so.
Yeah.
But
I'll probably have to be like, oh, I want to say that.
Yeah.
I want to say that. Take part 2.
Yeah, we'll do part 2. But I will link everything in the comments so that you can check out all the people that Tahnee has mentioned and all the awesome people that she's working with. and all of the upcoming events and activities that are coming up.
I know I need to mention.
Yeah, go.
So I am doing classes.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm doing classes in Ibiza. At the moment, I'm doing sunrise classes because it's so hot here. And I've got a beautiful yoga deck in the forest where I live, and it's 7 a.m. It's all shaded and gorgeous, and the sun's coming up. So
it is stunning. Like when you start your day doing that, it's incredible. I can actually give a quick review on it because I have never really done Kundalini yoga before. I've been to like fitness yoga and I didn't really know what to expect really. And when I went and was taught by Tahnee, it was incredible, and I honestly felt like a different person when I walked out of there. I felt clear. I knew what I needed to get done. I had things come to me into my mind that I was like, right, oh yeah, I need to focus on that, or I need to focus on this. So it was incredible. So I definitely recommend it, and it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful space to start the day in as the sun's coming up. It's lovely.
So you can get in touch about the sunrise classes. They're every Wednesday, but also available for doing it on other days that suit people, because I am getting up most mornings and doing my sunrise yoga, and it's just beautiful. So I'm just doing that at the moment, and then as we move into the autumn, there'll be some more time appropriate classes for people, but just right now it's super early.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and see you next time in part 2.